Dying is scary. The thought of death can be, overwhelming, like the combination of pain and then leaving those that we love. Man, this is a real thing. The fear of death is a heck of a lot different than like the fear of what other people think, right? I mean, when we think of Jesus, he really didn't want to go through what he did when he died. He petitioned and prayed and tried so hard to escape the death that he was asked to do by God the Father, right? He dreaded it. If you look at the way that he handles himself in the garden, you can tell he was afraid of it. He did not. This was not something that he was eager to do. And I think of those that are struggling with a diagnosis, those people, some of you are like actually wrestling with death. Or even mourning the death of a loved one or anticipating that. My heart just breaks for those seasons that we have to go through. Death it's a very real and present pain this side of heaven. But it's something that we should address and we should talk about. Because we still have hope. We still have hope because of what Christ did. He submitted to this crucifixion. He submitted to not just an ordinary death, but an excruciating death. And because of that, our fear of death, it can be overcome. It can be overcome. So while yes, the pain of death while we are still in this world is very, very real, we have hope of an eternity that has no more death and no more pain and none of these awful things that are here on earth. We have hope for a victory. The hope and victory of Christ that Christ gives right now. We can live in that in the midst of whatever struggles or wrestling that we are doing with death. In this moment, we have a hope and a victory that is given to us. Now, in Psalm 23, it's one of the most well-known and most reached for psalms in the face of death. And it says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Now, while a valley kind of gives this impression of being closed in or without an escape, right? We can see that the great shepherd, this great shepherd leads us through the dark valley. He leads us through this shadow of death. Spurgeon there's this quote of Spurgeon's that I just love. He said, "Death in its substance has been removed, and only the shadow of it remains." Someone has said that when there is a shadow, there must be light somewhere. And so there is. Death stands by the side of the highway in which we have to travel. And the light of heaven shining upon him throws a shadow across our path. Let us then rejoice that there is a light beyond. Nobody is afraid of a shadow, for a shadow cannot stop a man's pathway even for a moment. The shadow of a dog cannot bite, the shadow of a sword cannot kill, and the shadow of death cannot destroy us. Amen? I love that. I love that. So today, friend, I just want to encourage you that although death is a scary thing, we do not need to be overcome by it. The victory that Christ won over death when he rose from that grave is a victory that he has given to us. The whole reason Christ went to the cross was so that you and I wouldn't have to. As an innocent man, he went and he bore all the punishment for our wrongs so that we could escape, so that we could be free from the brutal death we deserve, and that we can actually have and live a life of victory in the very power that he used to rise from the dead. What? It's mind-blowing. And that victory is really available to us. And we have a hope. No matter what is in front of us, no matter what the pain is, no matter how scary death looks, it's been conquered. It's been conquered, and we do not need to be terrified anymore. We can overcome the fear of death. Oh, all right. I hope that this is an encouragement to you today. God bless, Godspeed. Okay, bye.